Glenn Melumba joins us. He's the Commissioner for Information for Imo State, as well as Uche Onyagocha, who is the former SSG for Imo State and the PDP senatorial candidate for Imo East. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Good morning.
Right. Let me start with you, Chief Melumba, concerning what transpired about the killing of some, they have different figures, but some say about 14 youths in Awommama in Imo State. What is your account of what happened?
Well, thank you very much for having me. And I want to start by saying clearly that it surprises me a lot when people have refused to accept the reality of what happened. And that is that it was an operation carried out by security agencies, mainly the DSS. And this was based on information. They had a pointer, one Chinosun Norom, who is a member of ESN and who clearly was interviewed. I can forward you the video, the audio, the video, where he clearly admitted that he was the person who led the SSS to a camp in Awommama, where they normally meet every Sunday to plan on a sit-at-home, to force sit-at-home on Mondays. And they went there and there was a shootout and there were casualties. And the man made it absolutely clear that the people who died in that shootout were members of his ESN, because he said that he could identify them. He knows their members, and he said he could identify them. And so it's a very straightforward thing that this was a security operation. What is shocking is that people are now, opposition elements and some misguided people have refused to accept this fact, and are insisting that it's a embargo and blaming government, saying government sent people to go and kill our youth. I mean, which human being, how would a government, a responsible government like ours, just send people, go and start shooting people indiscriminately at a wedding ceremony? So it doesn't make sense. That you ask yourself, when you look at everything, you ask yourself the simple questions. One is this wedding and the shooting that they are claiming, how come that the people who died in the process of this shooting were only young men? If you go to a traditional wedding, is it only young men that attend the traditional wedding? And secondly, where did the shootout take place? It was in the camp, clearly identified as a place where these people meet to plan for sit-at-home the next day. So the facts are there. And then you ask yourself, why?
No, right, Chief, you will talk about that a lot, but the images we just saw that played out, those were members, they were in the community, they were protesting in that community. So when you say opposition elements, are these protesters opposition elements?
They were cited by the opposition people. Now, let me tell you something. Now, you know that, first of all, in this same area, Olu axis, we have had incidents of a lot of things, very, very criminal and horrible, horrendous things that happened. There was a time people's heads were beheaded and displayed at market squares. There was a time that police stations were burnt indiscriminately and so on. And then even the governor's house was burnt, and including the top officials of APC in the area. The question you ask yourself is, why was it that the same people who are now in a hurry to claim that it was government, why didn't they condemn? Was there at any time that they condemned any of these things? They didn't, because they were condoning it. It was serving their purpose, and that purpose was clear. They wanted to make the government ungovernable for Senator Obuzodinma. So now they are the same people who decided to change the narrative in spite of the facts presented by the DSS that they did the operation.
We also have
so that they incite the people, and that was exactly what they achieved in doing. They incited the people.
We also have Honorable Onyagocha with us, so let's get him to give his perspective of what transpired. Honorable, could you go ahead? Is it as straightforward as Chief says it is?
I am even prepared to use the logic of my good friend Mbadiwe Melumba. Ask him, where is Awommama? Awommama is the local government of His Excellency Governor Hope Uzodinma. If he cannot secure his local government area, what are they talking about? Do you know the geography of Awommama in Imo State? Awommama is along the road from Owerri to Onitsha with a double carriageway, and you're talking about a camp. How big is Awommama that you cannot completely cordon every part of it? The road is passable. It's almost a semi-urban area. And then you're talking about a camp as if you're talking about somewhere in Afghanistan. But let us even use this other logic, that these people were killed by security operatives. When security operatives kill people, do they abandon them and run away? When these people were killed, according to him, by security operatives, the normal thing security operatives do will be to cut away the dead bodies. How come these people were killed and they were abandoned there by the so-called security operatives? And if these youths are protesting and you say they are opposition elements, do a very needful thing. Invite them over to Government House. Discuss with them. Hear their own sides of the story. Find out exactly what's going on. It doesn't add up. Senator Hope Uzodinma is supposed to be the chief security officer in the state. And at all times when any of this incident comes, excuses, excuses. That is all that we hear. It's just a simple case of people who have refused to do their job to secure lives and property in the state. I want to ask him also, how many lives have been lost in Imo State since they took over? In manners like this, it won't be anything less than 10,000. And the number continues to go up.
But he says that.
I'm challenging him. Where is Awommama on the geography of Imo State? Is it not the local government of the governor?
Okay,
is it not along Owerri or Onitsha Road? Why didn't security operatives carry the cops away when they killed the people in the camp?
But he also says that there's actually a video which he was willing to share of persons who were involved who actually said those who were killed were at least people who, just as Chief said, not just innocent youths, that there were those who were planning an attack on the state.
And do you believe that? They always make up stories like this. This is not the first time. They always tell us they have a solution to the problem. This is not the first time. They always tell us they know the people behind it and that they will expose it. They have been saying this for the past 2 years, that they know the individuals sponsoring this who are behind it. We've been challenging them, publish it for the world to see. Get those individuals arrested. Get those individuals prosecuted.
Well, it appears as if we have lost connection through to Mr. Onyegucha. But Mr. Declan, Mr. Melumba, it appears as if there are different accounts about what exactly transpired in Oru East, Awommama to be precise. And some of the survivors have been narrating their ordeal to pressmen. One of them told... We'll get to you, Mr. Onyegucha. Glad to know that you're back. One of them said they were returning from a wedding ceremony on Okada, and then the ESN security operatives attacked his brothers ahead of them. And then some others say that they actually came to the wedding ceremony to attack them, where they killed people, and then they even took the money sprayed the bride on her wedding day. I'd like to ask you to clarify these accounts. And is this the style of security operatives to, raid people said to be bandits or terrorists and to, steal from them as well?
Thank you very much. I want to make it very clear that, thank God you said there are different accounts. Now, if they said that they went to a wedding ceremony and shot people and took even their money and so on, all this time, the video they have been showing, we have not seen this bride. We have been only seeing a man who said he was the person who got married. And if people went to a wedding ceremony you are expected to meet there, both the old, the young, and everybody. Now, both girls and so on and so forth. How come it was only young men that were affected by this bullet that was shot, just indiscriminately in a wedding ceremony? These are the questions you will ask yourself. Now, the truth of the matter, like I said before, is that this thing happened in a camp, in a house, in Awommama. And by the way, Awommama is a vast place, and we are talking about the interior of it. Now, I want to make something clear to my very good friend, who I love and respect, but I must also tell him that the truth of the matter is that he, with the PD people, are behind the insecurity in the state. Unfortunately, he himself has a history of very violent political activities. During the last election, he went and in the presence of everybody, upturned an INEC table, took the result sheet and tore it to shreds, which led to his arrest by the police. And when this government, so he has that history. And when this government came, he was among those who came out openly to say that he will not accept the decision of the Supreme Court. And he was busy arranging talks, inciting the public, and leading protests against the government. So the position of PDP, PDP focus, very well known. That's what the point I'm trying to make is that their aim is to make this government
you directly attacked him.
And they are the people, they are the same people behind this
Chief Emeluba, just to put out that we focus on the issues and not attack personalities. But since you've directly attacked him and he's here, we'll let him respond, and then no personal attacks. We'll focus on the issues. But Honorable Onyegocha, could you respond to what he said?
I refuse to be drawn into his distraction. I want to continue with my explanation that if these people are opposition elements, we are saying opposition elements in which local government? In Oru East local government area, the home local government of His Excellency, Senator Hope Uzodinma. There are 27 local government areas of Imo State. How come Hope Uzodinma is allowing opposition elements to overwhelm him in his own local government? Does it add up? If he can't even secure the remaining 26 local government areas, can't he do something about his own local government, Oru East? How come since he started as governor, the battle has commenced in Oru East and persisted in Oru East and remained in his federal constituency?
But, Honorable Onyegocha, part of their narrative, part of the narrative we hear is that they say that some elements are trying to make it look as if he cannot control his own local government, or that his own people don't accept him, and that's the impression people want to paint.
That is the more reason why he has to show that it is not correct, that he has his people with him. But every day what you get is excuses. Excuses upon excuses. One of the first persons who got killed at the beginning of this crisis, the younger brother to my assistant when I was SSG, Mr. Zubi Chibu. We went to court to challenge the killing at the Federal High Court. We won the case. The Federal High Court has imposed a huge amount of penalty against the Nigerian army for the killing. You don't invite people you cannot manage. And I want to focus a little bit more on solving the problem.
Okay.
And this is where I have always insisted. Can we stop the tough talk? Can we stop all this postulation about bringing the army, the Air Force, the police? They can't do it. They have not been able to do it. Can we mobilize the citizens against this insecurity challenge in Imo State? Can we talk to ourselves as equals? Can we start the process of intelligence gathering from the citizens? Can everybody drop off whatever claim they have about being chief security officer or not being chief security officer? If you're not able to find a solution to this problem, can we resort to some other means? Before now, there used to be all this tough talk by Hope Uzodinma that he will bomb Ameri, he will bomb here, he will bomb here. You have bombed all the places. You have attacked as many places as you can, and you are not able to solve the problem. Even President Muhammad Buhari has realized that himself and all his service chiefs are not able to solve this problem, can we begin the process of talking to one another and saying, well, this is not acceptable to us, and find a practical solution to the insecurity challenge, rather than making unnecessary political comments about it.
All right, in seeking a solution, Chief Emelumba, when you say that there was a shootout, but the thing is, if there was a shootout, how come the casualty was only on one end with the youths? Because if you say they went to a camp, you will expect that people will be armed in that camp. But this was only casualties of the youths whose bodies were found there.
Well, I must tell you that in terms of the casualties, you might not be very correct to say that it's one-sided. Maybe the security agencies might not be able to.
Okay, so tell us then, were there casualties on the part of the security agencies?
I'm not in a position to say that.
But you said we may not be correct. So what is the correct thing that you know?
That's what I'm saying, that the security agencies will be in a better position to give you.
Okay, so you don't know the correct thing then?
It's not a matter of whether I know or not. It's not my duty to disclose that. It's not a matter of whether I know or not. But I want to quickly say something, because we are talking here. We said my friend was saying, why is the concentration in Oru East and all the rest of it? That is the script they have. The script is that they want the world to believe that distinguished Senator Zodima, the governor of Imo State, His Excellency, that he is not even accepted in his place. However, when like I said earlier, when there was rampant beheading of people, burning of police stations, burning of people's houses, and this governor has been able to contain it. There was a time it was so rampant. Your channel, I remember, you used to announce it on this your channel every day about one thing or the other. For the past 2-3 months, you have not, I'm sure you have not heard of any such thing. So now you are saying solve the problem. He has solved the problem. That's the truth. And now that he has solved the problem, you cannot even accept it and say, oh, you have tried, you are trying, or you have done well. But you are looking for every opportunity to still give the impression that there is a problem when there is none. These security agencies are trying to mop up the last wrongs of these militants. And you don't even want to accept that this is what the government is doing. You want to create the wrong impression that government is killing their own people. And you know it is not true. Because
just a moment, Commissioner.
Is to show the world or prove to the world that Imo State is ungovernable. That's what you want.
Okay, just a moment, Commissioner. Let's allow him respond to some of those statements.
To continue to insist on that narrative. And
right.
that is not
let's
fair.
allow Mr. Onyebuachi to respond.
That is what PDP
so we can
is doing.
focus on the issues.
And there is no other thing they're doing other than that.
If you can hear me, just a moment.
There is insecurity in Imo, and particularly in Olu, where the governor comes from.
Okay, let's take this to Mr. Onyebuachi. I'd like to get some things clear. A few questions that have not been answered, really. And I mean, this is towards seeking a solution to some of these issues. Is it true that the community has identified the youths who were killed as a part of, the community and have vouched for them that indeed these youths were coming from a wedding ceremony and they were not involved in anything nefarious? That's what Mr. Onyebuachi, by the way. Okay, I said, is it?
I didn't hear that clearly.
All right, no problem. Is it true that the community involved has identified the youths who were killed, whose bodies were found, as indeed youths who are part of the community, who are coming from a wedding ceremony and are not involved in any nefarious activities?
Of course. And that is why church leaders are even going to pay visit to the families. Are you not aware of it?
So indeed,
to show that they identify.
Indeed, they have vouched for the youths.
These are not militant youths as they are claiming.
All right. So let's take this back to Commissioner.
I want you to ask the Honorable Commissioner Mbadiwe Belomba, where is he from? He's from the same local government. Why can't they go and hold a town hall meeting in that local government? Why don't they go and sympathize with the people of Awommama, the Old Tulu communities that is mentioning? Why are they so aloof? If you are in charge, and you are in charge, you are the chief security officer of the state, you go down there, meet with the traditional rulers, meet with the youths, try to talk to them, calm the frayed nerves. Let's stop talking about it as if we're talking about bandits in Zamfara or Sokoto. I wish you were here for us to go physically to the place. From Mbadiwe's village to that place is less than 10 minutes drive. From Awommama to the governor's village is less than 8 minutes drive. And which is this camp they are talking about in Awommama? Awommama is where you have three breweries, in case you don't know. And it's not like it's a far distance. You can drive around Awommama no matter how remote they are talking about.
Okay, so let's take this to Commissioner Melumba.
Level of security is sincerity in all this kind of narrative.
So, Commissioner, Mr. Onyegocha has made a point saying, yes, this is towards finding a resolution, and clearly the people of a community still have lots of questions unanswered. So, why is it that the government has not gone to the community, maybe have a sit down with the traditional rulers? Is that something that has been done? Is that something that is being considered?
He will not admit that that has been done many times over. He will not admit that.
No, I mean after this incident, after this last incident.
Yes. Yes. After this last incident, whether what has happened.
Whether there's been a sit-down, whether there's been a meeting between government and the traditional leaders, the leaders of the community, essentially.
Of course, that has happened. That has happened.
When did that happen?
We have met them about 2-3 days ago. We have met with them about 2 or 3 times.
Was that in the community?
You say what?
Was that in the community?
The community.
So who met with the community leaders? Was it the government?
We have met with the community leaders, yes.
Who is we? Is it the governor, or were you there as representatives of government?
And the community leaders have met. And I happened to be there myself.
And that was 2-3 days ago. So what was the resolution, Commissioner?
No, of course, the point is that my friend is saying that they have confirmed that these people are not ESN members or so. The point is that the former ESN member who is in SS custody, who led them to this, said...
No, the question is, what was the resolution of the meeting?
I'm coming to that. I'll come to that. And like I said, I can forward you the video. He identified those people as their members. Now, it is not in doubt that these people come from this community. So, and part of the reason why the government said we are waiting for detailed final investigation is to now find out really whether there is, by chance, anybody who could have been an innocent person who was not. And when that happens, then the government will know what to do. So the government has met with the leaders of the community to also let them know that this is not the true position, what the opposition is saying, the government send a bag to go and keep people. That we look at the position and we want you to also volunteer information and let us know what you know about these camps and the youths who are there. And that at the end of the day, after investigation, these matters will be, if there is anybody who has been seen, who was innocently caught in the crossfire, such people will be identified and something will be done.
Speaking of resolutions now, Mr. Melumba, I wonder if that meeting or the series of meetings also took into account the position of the youths, and the residents generally in Awommama, Oru East and Oru West, who came out in their thousands to reject the ESN in its entirety and to reject the commander of the ESN as well. Did that meeting take that into consideration?
Well, I must let you know that this is a script. When you say reject, did you say they reject ESN? Let me get you right.
Yes, they did, and the video is available. Yes, the youths.
The youths came out and said they reject ESN.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it is not. Yes, fine. That is interesting. But the question is, if you reject them or you don't reject them, are they operating within your area? If the answer is yes, and that is the correct answer. So the point is that the youths, like I said, they were incited. They were given the wrong information. And all of them who came out there cannot tell you that they were sure of what really happened. So the whole idea from our own side of the business is to make sure that they understand the truth of what happened. And that truth is that there were people who were camping in the area and who were planning to come. And
we need to go. But just a quick one. Is there a law in Imo State that allows a Bibago to bear arms superior to a Dane gun?
Well, there is a law. A Bibago is an instrument of the law. There's a law establishing a Bibago. But I must tell you,
arms superior to a Dane gun.
No, I didn't say that. I said I'm
so how come they have those kind of weapons for the shootouts, which you spoke about?
So that means you are buying into the narrative that is a Bibago that went into.
You said there was a shootout.
I said it was the security agencies, DSS, that went there. That's the correct position. It's not a Bibago. We have to get it clear. It's not a Bibago. The duty of a Bibago, and that is because that is the falsehood that the opposition wants to feed you.
All right, well, we need to go. Let's get Honorable to give us closing thoughts, because there are actually questions concerning what you said, but we don't have a lot of time for that. Pardon me, Mr. Onyejocha, just quickly before we wrap up.
Final word is that Mbadiwe is even uninformed about activities in his local government. Doesn't it sound funny that you are even informing him about what the youths are doing in his local government, in his communities? The truth is that this government has refused to own up to the fact that they are incompetent. They are unacceptable. They are incapable of moving the state forward. And they must have the courage to come down and talk to the people and say, let's have town hall meetings on how to move Imo State forward and solve the insecurity problem and stop this blame game about opposition elements that causing trouble in my local government. That looks petty and silly.
We need to wrap up,
we
gentlemen.
expect that they should do better than that.
Well, Chief Emelumba, my colleague actually meant that the youths rejected the Bibago, not ESN. That's the point she was trying to put across. But I want to thank both of you for coming on today. Chief Emelumba is the Commissioner for Information, Imo State, and Honorable Onyejocha is a former SSG for the state and the PDP senatorial flag bearer for Imo East. Gentlemen, thank you for your thoughts. We're back in